smoky clubs to fields of green, her life took a turn, but her rhythm's still the same. Feel the passion burn. On stage she was a queen, now the land's her throne. Every note she sang now echoes in seeds she's sown. Her journey's just begun, a new chapter in her song. Watch her dance with the seasons, right where she belongs. She was a jazz and blues singer, making her way around the world. The journey stopped, but the song did not. So what's going on with you, girl? She started a YouTube channel and learned how to grow veggies, fruits, and bread, and a bunch of chickens in a row. Diva of the stage to diva in the dirt. Same diva, new life, diva in the dirt. Singing sweet melodies now with the earth. From city lights to moonlit nights, she's found her worth. With every seed she plants, a new story grows. From the mic to the soil, a rhythm she knows. Diva in the dirt, watch her thrive and gleam. Same passion, new dreams on the homestead scene.
Wow, welcome in, welcome in. Oh, I'm still trying to figure out how to balance all of this in here. You know, they change things and I can't seem to make it all right. It's weird. I just have to change my brand now, make sure that I'm going to brand too. I might just blink out for a second. Yes, I did. There we go. Let's just hide that. There we go. Now I'm in the right. I'm on the right brand or whatever they want to call it. Just want to make sure. Can you all hear me? Because I'm using these other headphones, and of course it's got the microphone. So just put in a 5 if yes, you can hear me okay. 5 out of 5 I got from Miss Sharon. Thank you very much. So let me just do some great, nice welcoming. We've got Shawnee here, and she says, eek! She's excited to hear from all of you. And Hedgehog Homestead, hello. Hello back to you. And CR, I'll be in at the top of the hour, but can't stay the whole time, though. Thank you very much. I appreciate you just coming in and saying your hellos. And Carol will be up later. She's got to still have her shower, but she'll be back in. And more people saying hello. And yes, you were right back here, CR, top of the hour. I was a little bit late figuring out my brand and whatever that was going on. I'm glad that you ate some food. Welcome, Miss Sharon. Thank you so much. And Miss Sharon always tells us up at the top to make sure that you click the live chat up at the top. So that's also another important aspect. And oh, thank you very much, CR. Spirit fingers and green thumbs. And everybody can hear. So that is awesome. Very good. Oh, hello. Oops. Okay, so I've got a runaway mouse on me here. It's as I barely bumped it, and it was like the whole chat just rolled up. So welcome, Tigsy. Thank you so much for coming in. She enjoys gardening and life, and everybody's saying so. Say hello, and there it is. There's the message from Miss Sharon saying, check to see that you are in the live chat or all messages. These earphones I absolutely hate because they go right over the entire ear, and so it's like I just hear, you know, my own weird echo in the background. So tonight I am broadcasting from my hometown in central BC here. I am up visiting my mama, and so I know my mama is online. So everybody say hello to Barbara Washington. She's watching from her television, so she won't be able to she won't be able to chime in and comment, but she is online with us, so that's awesome. And CR says, I also ate a fresh green onion tonight. Awesome. Oh, welcome, Mike's Chaotic Gardening. Hello. Hello, hello. Oh, yes, we must switch out my glasses because I need non-progressive so that I can look at the whole screen and not be doing this the whole night where I'm looking below. So there's a big hello from Miss Sharon for you, Mum, and whatnot. So I've got some, I've got an interesting setup because at home, I'm usually on my desktop and I have two screens. And so then I can be using my one screen and then the screen that I'm broadcasting from. But today I've got two laptops that I'm going to be working from. So it will be a little bit odd for me tonight. So welcome, the Bud Files. Thank you so much for coming in. And other people saying hello, hello. And so I'm not sure if many of you read what this, see, I've got two mouses that I have to work with here so that if I'm on the other computer, oh, I just got a commercial. I'd asked it to only give us a commercial at 30 minutes, but I'm sorry if that's happening. But if you did have a chance to read the description of what this video is about, I want you to be keeping in mind as we chat is some ideas of inexpensive meals that you might have done when you were when you were a kid, like something that your mom would have done, and or something that you would have possibly done yourself as an adult, for your own family. What are some budget friendly recipes? And you can send those. I had to make sure that yes, it is the right email address. You can send it to divainthedirt@shaw.ca. And partly what I was doing this whole live about was I wanted to, with my next video, I wanted to talk about, kind of inflation type recipes, recession proof recipes, things like that. And so that's kind of what my next video is going to be on. And I just thought, I have some, that I grew up with, and I have some that I created for my own family. But maybe there's another recipe out there that somebody goes, oh, this is hands down so economical, so nutritious, and so wonderful. So, oh, of course you are. You're always here for the food chat. So let's get into it. Please, if you could, also make sure that you hit that like button. I do really appreciate it. It helps the algorithm to know that people were enjoying this. Even if you're not enjoying this, just click the like button because somebody out there might enjoy this live and get to rewatch it. So welcome to you. Welcome all to you who are watching the chat replay. We do appreciate it, or I should say I do really appreciate it. Anyway, so I don't have Carol in here to be putting up the chat, so I will be doing it myself. So Miss Sharon said, my mama could never cook. If I wanted food, I had to go up the hill to Granny's and get a cold biscuit. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's very funny. Welcome, Fatima. Eggs and rice. That's awesome. Yeah, because it is like, the nice thing for me, I have chickens. And so, if a recipe is needing eggs, I have a whole plethora of eggs out. Oh my gosh, I can't stand this thing. Yeah, and add a little bit of green onion for some flavor. But anyway, like I said, I am hoping that in regards to the commercial ads, I have set a timer. I said to the program, do it at 30 minutes. So at that point, I'll make sure that I'm not talking about something so that you don't miss it. Wrong one, Maureen. Wrong mouse. So one of the things I will talk about again what I wrote in the description, but we want to talk about why homemade is better than instant processed meals, because that's the thing is when you look at a place like McDonald's, even though they've gone out and they show you how it's made, they show you that there's no nutrition in it. McDonald's is not selling their food. They're selling convenience. And that is one thing that's really hard to give up. When you are a busy person in this world, whether you have kids or not kids, you go at the end of the day, you go, I'm tired. And cooking means, making sure you got it out early enough, the meat out early enough to thaw. Then you got to, cook it all up. And now you've got all these dishes. So you're going to eat, and then you got dishes to do. And it's like, when you think about, I could just order, and I know, I know people personally who do order from Skip the Dishes and Uber Eats and stuff like that. And they're ordering a burger and fries and a drink, and it's $50 delivered to their house. And that's because of the convenience. But you know how much food you could buy with $50? It would be absolutely incredible. Like, it's like, how many burgers and fries that you could make with $50? So yes, expensive convenience. That's exactly. Oh, I want to see what Mike says here. My mom made porcupines, which is meatballs of hamburger meat and instant rice cooked in mushroom soup. That sounds absolutely delicious. And you see right there, I don't recommend instant rice, but it's, it does in a pinch. But that right there, that is a convenient meal. That is a meal you can walk in the door and basically in 20 minutes, it's cooking and it's almost ready to go to be served. It's like, that's what I love about that. And that's got everything that you need, right? And it is homemade. So yes, it's tasty and simple filling. Our go-to budget meal back then. Yeah, that's exactly it. Because, one thing that is different in this day and age is that, if you've got credit cards and you've got a pretty high limit on them, you can just keep using credit cards and keep living with the convenience foods and the instant, kind of thing, rather than going, okay, close off those credit cards. What is in our budget? And I'm speaking out of my experience of how I function and live. We do actually make a lot of homemade meals, and we are ones that we love to sit at the table when we have dinner. It's important for us. My kids to this day, even if they're by themselves, like if they've made their own meal, they'll come and sit at the table and have their meal at the table. It's not like, which I'm really glad that stuck with them, that this is an important thing about being at a table sort of thing. So anyway, so why homemade is better. And I did go and get some info. Number one, the hidden cost of convenience, more expensive per serving. Prepackaged meals, they may seem cheap. Even when you go, what's the thing about hamburger helper? What is that about? I'm sorry, I can buy a bag of pasta, package of beef, have my own spices, and make and some tomato sauce or whatever, and make the same thing. But people will go grab that box of hamburger helper instead of just going, make it yourself. Like, we make this wonderful thing called Mexican macaroni, and it is just like a hamburger helper, and it's all in one pot. I do believe it was, I would scramble fry the hamburger, then I would, and I might get this wrong, but it was like 2 cups of macaroni, 2 cups of water, and 1 cup of milk, and then some taco seasoning mix. And then just before we're ready to serve, I threw in some cheddar cheese and mix it in there so it's all stringy. And that again was so fast. And it's like, that's a hamburger helper. And you know how cheap that is compared to me buying, to feed 5 kids. I can't just buy 1 box of hamburger helper. I got to buy multiple. And anyway, so a homemade pot of soup can cost as little as $5 for multiple servings, while a single can of soup is going to be cost $3 or more. And of course, it's full of sodium. When you are also buying prepackaged foods, you're paying for the packaging and the processing. With store-bought meals, you're paying for more than just the food. You're also covering manufacturing, marketing, and the packaging. There's fewer leftovers, so there's more waste. A homemade casserole lasts multiple meals, but a frozen meal is usually just a one and done, right? So those are some and we all know this, but we still do it, right? You go, again, the convenience. There's more health and nutrition. The benefits are you control You have control over the ingredients. So boxed and frozen meals often contain preservatives, artificial flavors, excess salt or sugar to enhance the taste and shelf life. When you cook it at home, you control what goes into your food. There's no mystery ingredients. And even, recently my mom realized that she can't have, it's a filler that they put in there. And so now when there's an ingredient, if that filler is in there, my mom can't eat it. She will have a really adverse reaction. I can't think of what it is. And unless she yells it from the other room here. There's more nutrients, fewer fillers. So fresh whole ingredients retain their vitamins and minerals, whereas many processed foods lose nutrients during production. Plus, homemade meals don't contain unnecessary fillers or additives. Like I just, that was one thing that was really interesting to me, and I think it was because of all of you here. Is somebody was saying, and it might have been just even Carol, like when you buy the pre-grated cheese, it was like, which that's not something that's in my MO to do. I think I bought one just because it was super, super cheap, but it had this weird granular stuff in it. And it's like they put wood shavings, sawdust into it, into that grated cheese to make it go farther. You go, I'm not a beaver. I don't need to eat sawdust. Thank you. Less sugar, less sodium, and unhealthy fats. Most instant meals are loaded with hidden sugars, trans fats, sky-high sodium levels, which can lead to long-term health issues like high blood pressure and obesity. Portion control. You get better portions, better fullness. Fast foods and boxed meals often leave you hungry faster because they lack the fiber and the whole ingredients. Homemade meals like hearty soup, stew, and whole grain dishes are naturally filling. So which, you end up wasting less and you don't end up overeating. And it just does save time in the long run. That's the other aspect of it, is that we do what's called batch cooking, but we'll get back to that. I want to go and just see what's going on here in the chat. And where did I leave off? Ooh, 10 cents a meal. Just backing up here. Yes, expensive convenience. I think it's kind of where I kind of left off. Yes. Okay, so that was, I think, a conversation about fresh tomatoes for a super stew. Absolutely. It's that's just a wonderful way of stretching something, right? 10 cents a meal isn't filling, or $10 a meal isn't a $10 meal isn't filling. Isn't that right? And making homemade mac and cheese. I grew up with the boxed, and I did boxed with my kids. And the couple of times when I've had like homemade mac and cheese, it's absolutely fantastic. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because even with the box, you still have to add everything except the spices. CR, this is a super awesome topic. Just say it, absolutely. Yeah. Tomato soup with grilled cheese, with a grilled cheese sandwich on the side. Yum. I don't know about you guys, but myself, like I can make a decent grilled cheese, but my mom makes the best grilled cheese. I have no idea, how she puts her foot in it so that it just tastes better. And then also my mom has a unique way of cutting the sandwich into 3 pieces that are almost the exact same size. Because when you're feeding, she used to have a daycare. So if you're feeding 10 kids, you want 3 kids to be eating at a time. She's got 4 sandwiches cooking, right? So now that's 12 pieces that she can give to all the kids, which is kind of cool. So, yeah. So Mike, he says, we were too poor for Hamburger Helper. Cheaper to buy an entire bag of noodles and a can of cream of something soup. Now I garden to make it healthier. But we were in the city renting back then. Yeah, and it's interesting that even when money is super tight, people will still buy that Hamburger Helper. And it's like, you know what? You could go so much farther with your meal. So it's just awesome. Oh, hello, Marty. Thank you so much for coming in. Yes, and she has put my hashtag Diva. So if you are, there is somebody that you don't know in the chat, do check them out. Go and click on their link if they bring it up. hold it there for later so that you can actually spend the time watching the video, and so you can subscribe and support them. So everybody's saying hello. Yes, MSG. Lots of that in there. More people saying hello with Marty. Oh, you think you'll be eating at the bottom of the hour at this rate? Yes. So Tigsy says, we ate a lot of rice, spaghetti, and tuna helper. Yes. With my kids, I had 5 children. Spaghetti was one of our go-tos because it can go far. There's leftovers and lots can be done with it. So anyway, back to why our homemade, so batch cooking, and my daughter Marissa and I, mostly Marissa, she does batch cooking. And so it'll be like, she'll take a day, like Sunday afternoon, and she'll prepare 2 or 3 different items all at the same time. And then they're in bowls. And so then during the week, depending on if it was a busy, hard day in the garden, well, then it's like, you just go and grab your bowl, warm it up, and you're good. And I just find that it does require that little bit of extra work for those few hours. But then you go for the next, 3 to 4 days, we have meals for every single day. And she only cooked for 1 day, which is wonderful. Also taking use of slow cookers. That's another thing that was a real lifesaver for me, was just throwing it all in. And I do have like the recipe where it's called Mexican pulled chicken, and I did bring it out at Christmas time. And it's such a quick and easy, super filling meal. And then again, because you've made a whole crock pot, next 3 days, and even if you go, I know there's some people they don't like to eat the same thing every day. I am one that was like, I don't care. I didn't have to kill it, cook it, clean up after it. I'm happy to eat the same thing for more than 3 days. And also, when you are making homemade, it's going to build your kitchen skills and self-sufficiency, which is super important. The more you cook, the better you get at making it delicious without relying on recipes. Like pretty soon you go, okay, I know, and you go, I want a little bit of this, a little bit of that in there. And also you learn how to stretch ingredients. I know one of my go-tos with my kids when they were growing up was always a can of sliced mushrooms with the juice in there, just to make something go a little bit farther. Throw in a can of mushrooms, especially like a spaghetti sauce or certain things like that. Plus, it helps to build out your confidence. So before we go on to our next topic, I'm just going to welcome to the stage Carol. So, sunshine.
That shower helped, but I look like I just came out of the shower, threw some lipstick on, and I'm here. I made it.
Because that's what you did.
That's exactly what I did. We had bologna sandwich. Yeah, I remember the bologna as a kid, Tixie. Yep, and Spam. We had those too. My mom could make a mean bologna sandwich. I wouldn't eat it today. Hey guys, everybody.
Well, it depends on who makes it. Let me just grab here. I'll see where we're at.
My mom could make a mean bologna sandwich. If she was alive to make it again, I might eat one. And yes, who makes the bologna? Because you have that great video of how to make
your own. So then you
lunch meat, which is amazing. Hey, growing out box. All right, where are you?
Growing out the box. And I'm just trying to see where. Okay, by the way, I've tried sunflower in meals before. Oh,
yes, I've done that.
That's very, very interesting too. Yes.
Yeah, you can make a fake tuna fish with it, or a mock tuna fish with sunflowers.
Wow.
People who are like strictly vegan. I never say that word right, but yeah.
I think it's why I say vegan, but
yeah, it's probably vegan. It's probably the way you say it.
Tixie says, Mom made a sugar sandwich, and we also ate a lot of cornbread. Because that goes very far. My mom, she talked about the fact that they had just lard sandwiches. So bread with just some lard on them.
Right.
So, well,
we would have gravy and toast. We would have gravy and toast. Like if Mom had made gravy with anything. Oh, thank you, CR. I do not feel like that. Wish I felt like I was 29. Definitely wish I had that feeling.
Yeah. Yes, close cookers. Slow cookers are the best for set it. They
I
are
like
fun
that.
and wonderful.
Close cookers. Close
Yeah.
cookers is what they're called from now on.
Well,
Yes.
that's okay, Fatima. We appreciate you being here and punching in. So that's awesome. Excellent, excellent. So let me just go back to my next little one um, about about making this budget-friendly meals.
Right.
Going into smart grocery budgeting and shopping tips. That's what I want to just do a little bit of chatting
Okay.
about. And those of you in the chat, tell us what you do, because it's like sometimes you think, okay, everybody thinks this way, and not everybody
Right.
does think this way, and you might go, never thought of that, right? And let me just grab my other note here.
Well, we definitely shop around, like right now with everything going on with meat prices. Well, everything's kind of going up, but I found it was ground chicken and ground turkey, and I know that those are, slightly processed, but I found a pretty good brand, and I found it at our BJ's, and BJ's is like a big box store. But I mean, $9.99 for 3 pounds for pretty lean meat.
Wow.
And, those things stretch. Like, you can make meatloaves, you can make meatballs, you can make, croquettes, whatever. You can make all kinds of things with ground meat. But right now, even dog food's getting expensive. So I've been pricing it out, and it might even be cheaper to make it myself.
Yeah, my brother, that's what he does, is he makes it for their dog. So
Yeah.
when you are going through smart grocery budgeting, it's really important to set realistic grocery budgets, and then planning the meals around the sales. Like, I had one friend, she actually would make a different recipe every single day of the week, but she made a plan of like, okay, this is what I have to go and get, and making sure that you just go and buy those things. So if you see what's on sale, okay, so chuck stewing beef is on sale. Well, okay, so I can make a stew that week, but we can also use it in another dish of making like a beef stroganoff, or we can also use it for a stir fry, because it's something that you can let kind of simmer for a while. And then also the power of buying staple ingredients instead of pre-made items, and stocking up on those essentials so that you already are going ahead. It's like, okay, I've got the flour, got the sugar, like those are normal staples, but some of your spices, some of those things that you got, I want to do Mexican this week, or some Mexican and some Korean for us. We love those too. As I talked about it earlier, it was the batch cooking and meal prep to save time and money. And it's like, it's such a lifesaver for us, cooking in those larger batches and stuff like that. And then freezing the leftovers so that you have planned leftovers. So it's like even making your own frozen dinners, right? And then rotating a few staple meals each week to reduce the waste. Because I know I used to always call it, like with the cucumbers, the cucumbers that you'll get in a 3-pack, they have an extra plastic sleeve over them, right? And then they're in a plastic thing. And I go, these plastic sleeves around the cucumber is so that it's self-throw-away. It's so that I can throw it out without it spilling all over my thing. And it's like, that's ridiculous, Maureen. Why are you throwing them out? Stop buying them, kind of thing. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's a self-throw-away package. And it's like, okay, if we're not going to be eating anything with cucumbers, don't buy them. That's the bottom line. That's what I'm really trying to say about that.
Yeah, cut down on impulse buying.
Yeah. Yes. And then, of course, using the slow cooker and pressure cookers for efficiency, and that. And with that, all of that is going to stretch ingredients and reduce wastes. So cooking once, eating twice. Think about, okay, what can I make besides spaghetti? Something that would be like with one of our things that I love to do, it's almost like a lazy man cabbage roll. So it's like, brown up the ground beef, chop in some cabbage, and then I just throw in diced tomatoes. And I love it just like no spice, no nothing. And I make a big batch of that. And that's going to be, for lunches or for suppers kind of thing. And it's like, it's so delicious. Oh, and rice. We put it on top of rice. Or sometimes I just throw the rice or cauliflower rice right in it. It's just like, just cook it with it, one pot.
Right.
I love something like that is easy, simple, filling, and nutritious to have. Making your own homemade broths. I know lots of people are making bone broth more often. And your spice blends, right? Making up those spice blends, because it's like, I do buy the taco seasoning mix, but it's like, it's nothing to make up your own. You know, chili powder, cumin, oregano, garlic, some salt, pepper if you so like, you know, and depending on how spicy you want to make it. There's your taco seasoning mix without all the fillers, kind of thing. So let's just see where we are at in the chat. Whoops, wrong mouse.
Mike was up there saying he's not a fussy eater. So he can enjoy make-ahead meals. There you go. Fatima was saying hers happen usually.
That's a really good point, is to see, because it's like, if you know, if you're not paying attention to when are the sales coming up, right? So I try
to do that too. I do my 2 big shopping things only twice a month, and follow usually the sales. We have sale flyers that change like that. It's a great idea, Fatima.
Yeah, and Marty's does the same thing as what Marissa does. You know, cook once, and then you usually get 3 different meals from it. You know, and that's if you could cook up 2 pounds of burger and then split them, and one goes into this sauce and the other one goes into something else, right?
We know Shawnee does that too. She does pre-prep. She does a lot of meal pre-prep all at once.
Yes, it is. Time to go. Well, welcome in David Core with Crop. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you, sir. Lovely to see you. So Mike says, I tend to see what's on sale and cook for an entire week. Like the kielbasa rings for $1.88. I bought 10 and froze them. Brilliant. Like that is just brilliant, because there's so much that you can do with kielbasa. It's just fantastic. Yeah.
Smoked sausage and kielbasa is a favorite here. I just now have to be careful of what's in it. I have to read the ingredients or I get sick. We do soups from scratch. Yes, I was going to say that. Like those of us with gardens, you know, not all of us can, but it's great too. And those canning of the soups and having a lovely larder like Maureen has at her house. But even freezing your veggies. Like here we have something called chaya, and it's an Aztec spinach, and it has to be pre-boiled, but I might necessarily not want it that night, or not want to use all of it, because I like to do it in bigger batches. And you could freeze it right after, pretty much. After it cools off, you freeze it, and then you have it for later. And it's right out of your backyard and pretty much free.
Wow. Yeah, one of the things that I do mention it in the description, and you know, like it was our, hey, we are, you know, a little bit poor today or this month, and I would do something called bucket soup for my family, and partly it was from using leftovers, and it was like old ice cream pail, throw in whatever was left over, so that it'd be the spaghetti, there'd be some stew, there'd be some chicken, there'd be all sorts of things, right? And like, this is just a mismatch of like, all frozen. And then it's like, okay, you know, we need something quick and easy and filling. I bring that out, add some broth to it. And, you know, when I talk about bucket soup, my kids, I love bucket soup. Like, this is the poorest man's soup. You do realize that was the best, you know. And for me, growing up with my mom, it was the hamburger beans on toast. And that was like, it's super, super tight budget. That's what we have. To me, that we were eating some delicious stuff. And I had no idea as a kid that this was our budget friendly meal. And so I served it to my kids, which my kids went, this is fantastic. And it's like,
I love that.
Budget friendly meals. But, you know, it's, you know, in our heads, we're going, we don't have enough money to do some, you know, to cook this big elaborate meal, but we have this. And the family goes crazy for it, you know. Hamburger, can of pork and beans, and put it on buttered toast. I love it.
I didn't know that my brother was making like what we would call a struggle meal. Like when I was young, he was making like what somebody else mentioned, where they didn't have the money for hamburger helper. They got the pasta and the cream of whatever soup, And
Yep.
basically, he would do something like that, but it was basically what they got from a food pantry or, some of our government cheese. Government cheese was like goulash. They would make goulash out of it with the pasta and the different, like, stewed tomatoes and, some peppers and some onions and things like that. And then if they had meat, they had meat. If they didn't, they didn't. Another one was they
Exactly.
did like a tuna fish pasta salad with it was like mayos, peas, and sometimes onions or no onion at all if we didn't have it.
Right. Right.
Those kind of things. But I loved all those meals. I didn't know better. Just like you said, as a kid, you don't
No.
know. Like,
No.
oh, this is nice. I like this.
That's right. Look at this, got all the flavors.
I know. It's got
So Miss
everything.
Sharon, she's a bit upper class because she used a tall Tupperware container, not just a bucket, an ice cream bucket that stays in the freezer for leftover corn, beans, meat, cooked rice, whatever goes in there. End of the week, great soup.
Great.
Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
and it's
I
like
like that idea.
we end up forgetting about these ways
Mhm.
to actually make our food go
Right.
farther and stretch, and it's like, so that means that you didn't just throw those dollars into the garbage, or this little bit of leftover. I don't care if it's a tablespoon, throw it in there,
Right.
so
Right.
it's a brilliant way to do things, to make our
Yeah.
money go a little bit farther.
Takes these even saying that's a great idea. Like, yeah.
Mhm.
Like, we can learn different things from each other. Another thing, like, my grandmother would do, and Takesy hit on it too, like, when I said meatloaf, she's like, her mom would do the meatloaf and the salmon patties. We had, well, I didn't learn about the croquettes till later because I learned about them from the Cuban culture down here, but my mom said, "Oh, yeah, your great-grandmother would make those." Well, of course she did, because if there was any meat left on that chicken, they were turned into croquettes because you could stretch that little bit of meat into a meal.
Right.
And, it's like flour and breadcrumbs and, you've got a little bit of chicken and maybe some chicken stock and you've got little things that whether they're patties or they're long things, they're
Yep.
delicious. I think
Yeah.
chicken
Yeah.
croquettes are so good.
One thing that my dad would always do would make would be a fish. It would be a fish cake, but it was
Yeah,
whatever was left over
yeah,
in the fridge, and then they would
right.
just open up a can of tuna or whatever and make these, and they'd be, my dad would be frying those late in the evening. Well, hello
Right.
there, Mr. Homestead Aquarius.
Hey,
Welcome,
thank
welcome.
you.
Good to see you here, hanging out with us, talking about food.
Oh, Laura, I didn't see you in here. Hi. I think I did see you early on before I had to hop in the shower. Hey. Hey, hedgehogs.
Yeah, and this, yeah. Marty saying to Miss Sharon that the best soups come from the little bits you freeze, and it is.
Right.
It's just such a good way. Ooh, Mike saying Sloppy Joe's secret budget food for everyone but everyone loves. Absolutely, that's
Yeah,
exactly
they're
it.
good. I like my husband does not like. My husband, if he can taste peppers in anything other than salsa, it, it hits the road because I made goulash not realizing that my salsa has like some green onion in it. I mean, some green pepper, like
Peppers.
very little.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he can taste green pepper specifically. That's the one that bothers him the most because they had struggle meals, but like one of his dad's favorite meals was stuffed green peppers, and he was made to
Mm.
eat them when he was younger. So
Now
he
he's like,
just
no,
yeah, and
no,
he didn't like them even then, but I mean, he's like, "No, now that I'm an adult, I'm not touching green peppers."
yeah. Sourdough everything, bread, pancakes, cakes, and muffins.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And the interesting thing I've been seeing lately is with sourdough, with your discard, is that people are actually using it
Right.
as part of their roux for making a gravy, or if you're wanting to thicken your soup,
Yeah.
is to use your discard. So you're not like, most people don't just throw the discard into the garbage. You're saving it. But here's another way to add in again that nutrition, that probiotic. Sugar toast. Sugar toast is a budget food. Well, you need to
Yeah.
tell us what sugar toast is, David Corey with Crop.
We used to make sugar toast. I remember making that coming home from school if we wanted to.
What's sugar toast?
Well, for us, we had the butter, and it was butter and sugar and toast.
Okay. Okay.
Pretty
Not
much what our
cinnamon.
house was. Well, no, if you had cinnamon, you added cinnamon, but if you didn't have cinnamon, it was just the sugar, and sometimes you didn't even have the butter, and what you would do is, like, I think we wet the bread, we'd stick the sugar to it. Sometimes you'd even make balls when you were a kid and, like, pretend like it was dessert and, like, freeze it a little bit so it got a
Yeah.
little bit of different texture and then rolled it in the sugar, and
Yeah.
yeah, we
So
got creative.
um, I'm going to ask this question, but as other people come in, I do want you to remind me, because I want to know if anybody has ever made or eaten a water pie. Because as I was watching, what do people eat in the Depression and in those tough times, like what did churches when they were going to do a big get together, and this thing called a water pie, and it is a pie crust, and the main ingredient is water. It says water, sugar, vanilla, and butter, and it turns it into a custard. And so I was like, I want to actually try that. I might think about making a water pie. It's called water pie.
I have a very old cookbook. I was going to see if it had anything in it for the struggle meals, but water pie.
If anybody is out there that has made a water pie and tried it, let me know, because I'm thinking that I might, while I'm here, is make my mom doesn't get to have pie very often, and is make a gluten-free crust and see if I can make that water pie.
Okay, it's not in there. Let me look under pies and see if they have it in here. Because I mean, these things are almost falling out of the book. So old. Let me just see. I have to use pages.
You didn't find it when you looked
Never
up?
heard of it. No, when I looked under W, it wasn't there. So now I'm going to pies.
Okay.
To see if it's under pies. But go ahead, go about your business. And
I
see
am.
if I can
Just go about your business. Quit waiting for me to look this up.
This is not Google. This is pages of a book.
Yeah. Just hang on a second. I'm just. I was just coming in here because yes. Oh wait, we got commercials now. Yes, you do. I've asked them to.
I know. I just remembered. Sorry to interrupt, but with the croquettes, my great grandmother also would. Any leftover mashed potatoes you made potato pancakes out of too, and the same thing. You mix veggies in them, whatever you had, and you made that into a meal itself. Was you used all the mashed potatoes, like any over.
Yes.
She would either serve it with breakfast or make it into like a lunch or even a dinner. I'm not seeing water pie. I'll have to look it up. I have never heard of that before. It sounds so interesting how you get a custard out of that.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, David, is I've asked it to only do every 30 minutes so that I can kind of be on top of it. And bread pudding. Yeah, no. For those of you that like it, go ahead, but no. Mama say no.
All right, now let me look it up on Google.
Oh, and by the way, I have made sweet and spicy pink rice before. Cool. Greens out your back gardens can be a budget food. Absolutely.
Darn, yeah. Great Depression recipe. That's something else.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can.
Oh, Tigsy also is for the bread pudding. Mm-hmm. So my go-to dessert, which I didn't know was called Depression cake, it was just called Wacky Cake, and the recipe is in the description down below. And it was a chocolate cake that you don't need eggs, you don't need milk or butter, you do need oil in it, and you make it in the pan. Like you can make it, you put all your flour and stuff into it, and mix it up, and it's got vinegar. So you mix up all your dry ingredients. Oh, is this the water pie?
This is the water pie. Let me show you a picture, guys, because it actually looks quite tasty.
I know.
It looks kind of good, like especially at that time when you're lacking ingredients and you really want something sweet. Yeah, they did use vanilla extract, which I don't know how available it was during the Depression. I'm not really sure, but you're right. It's water, all purpose flour,
sugar, they did. Okay.
Vanilla. I was trying to think, how are they thickening it when you said it's water? That's how. And butter and the vanilla and the butter. So it's basically like a gravy, but you turn it into sweet pie.
Yeah.
Like how you would make a white roux.
Yeah.
Like you were saying before.
And this was super popular at church functions when they were eating a lot of people during the Depression.
And I bet if you had canned fruit, you would probably serve a little on the side if you were lucky enough to have that.
Sure.
That was a big thing, was cottage cheese and canned fruit. I remember that. My mom said, like, for my great grandmother, that would be like a dessert, like a special thing, they
Yeah.
would get out the canned peaches with the cottage cheese. And we've just seen it probably so much growing up that we never realized that that was like a, ooh, got cottage cheese and canned peaches today.
That's
Like,
right. Yes, it
but I
is
mean,
like
that's
home ec.
part of my prep. What was
Yeah.
that? I'm sorry.
He says, I feel like I'm at home ec now.
Right? I miss home ec. Home ec
Yeah.
was great.
Oh, David, I appreciate that you are.
Thank you,
Yeah,
David.
yeah.
Does help.
Cinnamon sugar toast.
I loved that
Oh,
as a kid
is
too.
Roosevelt stew. I want to know what that is.
Sure. Let me
Or
look.
frozen chocolate milk. Okay, Laura just came in and she's just dumping, deliciousness. Onion and peanut butter. Okay, now you're pushing it, CR.
Oh no.
So yeah, so Tigsy says never heard of it. Yeah, so I would really like to try this water pie, and it's like that's pretty darn good.
Okay,
Um,
that's quite
okay.
the
Oh,
stew.
I've had that, but didn't know it was called water pie. Okay, Miss Sharon has, and was it delicious?
I might have had it too, but I'm not positive.
Okay, so no cinnamon for David, so he just had sugar toast.
Okay.
Oh, yesterday was
This-
pie day. I should have made it yesterday, but I think I was flying yesterday. I was doing a lot of flying in the air. Oh my
This is a
gosh!
lot of ingredients, though. This
Marty.
stew. Hold on.
Marty says, I love water pie.
Oh, yes, that's where I probably had it in PA, Marty. Thank you. I have had that. I've had it in PA.
Yeah.
Like when we were
And
going
the
through
wacky cake.
Lancaster. Probably had, I don't know if I had the wacky cake, but I definitely had
Okay.
that.
She's
I
got
probably had the wacky cake.
she's got one called Impossible Pie. I want to know what that one is, Marty. Zero mess and such a time saver. It sounds similar to Wacky Cake.
Right.
Laura
Well, and
says
for
during
me,
the Depression,
go
they
ahead.
used
Sorry.
a lot of parts of the animal that we wouldn't normally
Yes.
use eaten today.
Yes.
That is very true.
My great grandmother loved cow tongue sandwiches because I know, but it becomes a very tender piece of meat. They boil it, they strip that outer part off so you don't have the taste buds on it, thank God. And they slice it just like a beef tenderloin. Big tongue. This is the Roosevelt stew. Let me go back to it so I can read it. It has quite a bit of ingredients. I don't know if it would be like a struggle meal or not, unless you're growing all these veggies, but it's 2 pounds of beef chuck, 2 tablespoons bacon grease, pearl onions. I'm sure you could substitute carrot, celery, clove garlic, salt and pepper, Italian seasoning for stew herbs, and then 1 tablespoon parsley and a teaspoon of Worcestershire or Worcestershire. Worcestershire sauce. It sounds delicious.
Yeah, but it sounds very, very Italian-esque with the celery and like it sounds like a stew with
right.
kind of
a little extra.
Yeah, Italian, like it sounds like a stew with an Italian flavor to it. So look up depression pie is what Marty says in regards to the other one, the impossible pie. So we'll look up that one.
Okay.
David Corey says banana nut bread is good.
Yes, that was another one we used to make. Yep. Fried
cabbage over rice. Yes, that's basically Fatima. I'm assuming you pronounce your name Fatima, but if I'm saying it wrong, just let me know. But that fried cabbage over rice is similar to. I just throw in the diced tomatoes.
Oh, okay. I've had this one too, Marty, and probably up in PA. Hold on. Boop. It's like circling too. I've got it on, but the website I think is getting ready to drop pop-ups on me.
Miss Sharon says, I can't eat fried cabbage, but I can eat it if it's sliced and grilled. That's cool. Okay, so this is impossible pie.
This one has coconut in it. So it's got actually eggs. So 4 eggs, half cup margarine, or you probably could substitute half a cup of flour, 2 cups milk, 1 cup sugar, 1 cup coconut, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla is your filling. It looks like this one picture makes it almost, hold on, not that one. Let me see if I can find it. There's one person who must have put it in like a cheesecake pan right there. Reminds me kind of the ricotta pies that we would sell at the bakery. Like it's an Italian cheesecake and they use ricotta. with the cream cheese, but that looks pretty tasty.
Mm,
Pretty tasty. The thing
mhm.
is, it's interesting that, like Mike said, how that program got canceled and how we're watching our basics go crazy price-wise. What our ancestors survived off of, like through the wars, are now those prices are what people are going, the milk, the eggs, like what's going
Mhm,
on, like the
mhm,
butter, like
mhm.
those were their basis for a lot of these struggle meals. So
Yes,
what's going to
yes,
happen for us? Like I hope something happens and
ye-
brings down the prices.
yes. Omelets also
But
have
yeah.
a load of variations too, and yes, I've had sunflower version too. That's awesome. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
the beautiful thing about an omelet. You can, can be all over the world. Ooh, I really love hot water cornbread. Never heard of that one.
Okay, let me look that one up.
Yeah, cabbage steaks, fried or grilled, is so good.
Yeah.
Actually, Carol, when you do find the recipes, could you put them
Uh-huh.
into our chat?
Oh, the
Um,
links, I wasn't even thinking and I
yeah,
erased them. I'm
because
sorry, you guys, in the
no,
side
that's
chat.
okay. But people can go and look themselves, but we can just go forward. Yeah, I didn't even think of
Okay.
that. So fried
Me
bologna on
either.
Wonder Bread. Yes.
Yep.
Peanut butter toast
Let's
is
see.
good too. And my mom makes the best peanut butter toast or peanut butter sandwiches because she always would swirl the butter in with the peanut butter. And it was just, I don't know.
Mm,
My mom just had like she was
I
able to
know.
go,
That
a
touch
little bit
of
of
love and
magic.
everything.
Here's some
Yeah.
magic. Bye-bye.
Okay. So for this one, because some of us have small screens, it is 1 cup cornmeal, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon white sugar, 3/4 cup boiling water, 1 tablespoon bacon grease, 1 cup bacon grease, or as needed. I guess you're frying it, even though it's water. You gather
Mm.
all your ingredients, you make the cornmeal. Oh, come on, pop-ups. No, not right now. Um, let's see, wait a minute. Combine cornmeal, salt, and sugar in medium bowl. Add boiling water and 1 tablespoon bacon grease. Stir until the bacon grease melts. And then, yes, you're frying it up in that bacon grease. That's why you like it, I bet, David.
Mhm.
Anything fried in bacon grease is so much better.
It's so delicious. Oh, and you make them into little
Little bites.
nummy.
Yeah, those are really good. You could make them savory or sweet. Okay, I'll drop that link in the side chat for everybody.
Hot water cornbread.
Yep,
Nice.
hot water bread. There wasn't that many pictures of it, but there's the patty picture.
And how do you
Okay.
not just eat them all
Yeah,
in one
right,
sitting?
right.
So I love that. Love that. Love all these different ideas and recipes that you guys are sharing. Like
Mhm.
this is just so, so good. Loving it.
You could do pile-ups with those, like make a taco pile-up and not have to use a lot of taco meat. Like if you really didn't
Yes.
have a lot of taco meat and you're filling them up with the cornbread patty itself. So that would be
Yes.
a way, like, to
Of
have tacos, but
stretching.
not have stretching it, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Hold on.
brilliant.
I have to open you one.
So yeah, that wacky cake, like I said, that recipe is down below in the description because that I think in the fall there, like
Oh,
Marissa would say,
shoot.
hey, we need to make a dessert. And I'd go, make a wacky cake. Oh, we need to make a
Yeah,
dessert, make a wacky cake because it's
right.
not elaborate, it's minimal ingredients, it tastes delicious. And I have never tried it by looking at making like a white cake or a spiced cake
Mhm.
with it. But I just thought it was just the chocolate one. But yes, you can make it spiced and you can make it as a white cake. But minimal ingredients, and you've got this moist, delicious chocolate cake. So I love that. Um, yeah, I think I already talked about our hamburger beans on toasts. And so yes, and you guys have been sharing some recipes, not necessarily the recipe, but you guys are giving us the titles, which I
Right.
absolutely love that. And uh,
Oh, with fruit cocktail, I just saw Tigsy's comment, I missed it before. Yep, my grand
ooh,
I've done that before too, Tigsy, and I like it that way too but it's like, I can't do that now because it was the syrup canned fruits, could maybe once in a while because it's really that's what made it good was they were in syrup.
Yeah, Miss Sharon says yes, the water pie is good.
Mm.
Fried bologna, Mrs. Carl's bread. We didn't like the Wonder Bread.
I don't think I had Mrs.
Homemade
Carl.
biscuits topped with homemade gravy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Cow tongue?
Yeah. Just like that's what
Holy cow tongue, I'm hungry.
Hey, you can't say nothing about cow tongue because I've heard about these things called chitlins. And yeah, I couldn't. So I totally understand your thing with the tongue, David.
Storms! I still crave that time to time, Tigsy. Woo!
Yeah, me too. I crave a peach with the cottage cheese once in a while.
Everybody's saying hello to Storms, who just came in.
Hey, Barry.
Yep.
Tomato gravy.
Tomato gravy. Whoops. Tomato gravy and biscuits. Okay. I would like to know a little bit more about that one, Miss Sharon.
There's also a chocolate gravy, which have you made that, Miss Sharon? I have never had that before, but I've heard of it, and then I looked it up, and it's really interesting.
Liver and onions.
Yep.
I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, you have to be careful now too, where you get the liver from.
Yeah,
because you don't know what those animals are eating, and it all passes through that liver.
Yeah,
I think that's too why I haven't been feeling so good.
Storms also is saying hello and hope everybody is safe from the storms because I haven't been totally I've kind of got just slightly a bit of an eye on what's been going on because I've been like I said yesterday I was busy flying up here and then having to learn the ropes of okay, the dog eats these meals a day and the bird needs this and my mom I can handle it. It's like I can just say, Mom, what would you like, Mom? But the bird, the parrot, and the
it's a macaw, right? It's like
it's a macaw. It's a big bird. A fancy struggle meal I'd get on birthdays was mac and cheese with diced hot dogs in it.
I think a lot of kids got that. Yeah, the crab mac. I think that's where too. Like they're going after some of what used to be was okay for us as kids, and now they've added so much stuff in. But it was like the crab mac and cheese and hot dog diced up. Yep.
Yeah,
my nephews loved that, Mike. So they would have considered that a special meal too.
Yeah, when we were really focused on the keto lifestyle diet, we would do cauliflower mac and cheese. So the head of a cauliflower, we would make our own cheese sauce, but we would put we buy our hot dogs from the butcher. They're not just
I've been thinking about doing that.
They're you can notice a difference between the butcher hot dogs. It's not all weird things in it. And and there is there's more substance to them and stuff like that. Oh, Miss Sharon, I will eat grass before I eat any animal insides.
Well, if you had a hot dog, you've had it. You've had the animal inside. So that's what marine means. It's funny because I've been thinking that lately because I saw a lovely short of animals being ground. It was just not. I hope it was for dog food because the way it was happening. But it was like, okay, I have to make sure the hot dogs I buy like Applegate, the uncured, because I can't have any of the cured meats.
Right.
But I'm like, I need to check out our local butchers and see what they do with their hot dogs and if they're kosher or not. Because you answer to a higher power when they're kosher. They're a little saltier because they add more salt. But yeah, that grossed me out so much. I'm like, I really need to investigate hot dogs.
Yeah. So Tixie says they're getting their storms overnight. We're just wondering about you, Laura. Everything's holding down. And welcome in, Serena. We welcome you in. Good to see you.
Hey, Serena.
Yeah. So Sharon's saying to be safe, and I'm just over here east of you.
I hate those night storms that I see you guys worrying about. Those are the worst. But it's so strange because that's when we've always gotten hurricanes too, as they pass over our house in the middle of the night. And you're just sitting there like, yeah, I'm not going to bed. Like, I'm not going to bed tonight. Yeah,
Yeah.
iguanas are. Yeah, and also we have the wild Muscovy ducks now too, and I do
Ooh.
see in my area, which is a mixed area as far as like we have a lot of HOAs in the area, but I mean, you can live in an HOA and still struggle. And I've seen the iguanas population go down and also our Muscovy ducks go down. So, yeah, people might be grabbing them in the middle of the night for free meat. Catch, cook, clean.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Oh, but
yes,
we have
this one too. Tuna vegetable with mayonnaise and noodles for a cheap meal. I made that as well.
Yep.
Like
That's
a
what I mentioned before.
tuna noodle casserole. Um,
Right.
and with that,
You
we
can,
put cheese and whatever. And my kids loved it. Like, and it
yeah,
was
you
just
can
like,
do hot or cold. Yeah, you can do a
mhm,
hot or cold
mhm.
version. We did the cold. My sister would sometimes do the hot, and I like the hot version too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it with the noodles, Laura, too. Hot. Yep.
Hmm.
I like it better though, actually, the next day when it's cold after it's been hot and you eat it cold. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know
Oh,
why.
yes. So Barry is talking about Sunday salad, like it's so that's a box kind.
Oh,
But
interesting.
we're trying to make everything homemade. Egg drop
Yeah.
soup. I think that was another one that was on the, 25 depression meals that, churches
Mhm.
would make. Um,
Yeah, love the
ooh,
land. If you have that Mennonite background, I bet you have quite a few of the meals that it's just right off the land and right
mhm.
off your pantry, and that's it. I'd love
Yeah,
to hear your ideas.
yeah. David says,
Hot
my mom
one.
just uses hot water to make cornbread as she gets the grease hot.
So does she mix in though a little bacon grease in with the cornbread too? Or it's just water and cornmeal? Like what's her version, David? Egg taco before. Oh
That's
yeah,
interesting.
I've made egg burritos before, but that was a
Mhm.
stuffing. Do you mean like you made a taco wrap out of the egg? Help me out there. Like a crepe? Creative redundancy? Egg.
Mhm.
Yes. Those are so good. I agree.
Oh, so Marty also says probably funeral cake, pies, casserole, super cheap.
Yeah.
Fernal. Ooh, another affordable dish is blackberry dumplings. It can be for breakfast or as a dessert.
Ooh, that sounds
Nice.
really good.
Yes.
Then if you're making blackberry dumplings, then could you also, Tigsy, make like a blackberry, you know, what do they call those? It just went right out of my head. Cobbler. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Came back. I
Ooh,
want to look up
yes.
blackberry dumplings now, Tigsy. That sounds so good.
Potato soup with grilled cheese, and actually potato.
Yep.
Just making a potato leek soup or potato bacon soup. Again,
Hmm.
that was one of the a super popular um, low budget meal because it's like it goes far. It's good nutrition in it. Oh, you would eat cheese if they put cheese on the chitlins? You'd maybe eat them. Oh, Miss Sharon says chocolate gravy is my favorite. Can't get my head
Oh, is
around
it?
it.
Oh, cool.
Uh-huh.
You have to drop us a recipe link, Miss Sharon. Something that comes close to the way you like to make it.
Barry
You
says
don't have
mom
to. Yeah. Go
made
ahead.
a
I'm
pasta
sorry.
veggie tuna salad kind of thing that was chilled. We called it yuck, but it was so good.
Called it yuck. I love that.
Carrot, celery,
Maybe.
bell peppers, onion, mayo, macaroni, tuna, mix it all in and chill it. Great summer
Yeah.
meal, but we called it yuck. Hey, could
How
you pass me
funny.
some more
Probably
yuck?
look like yuck. Yeah. To a kid. To a kid, it probably looked like
Go,
yuck.
oh, good, we're having yuck tonight for dinner. I love it
Oh
when
my
mom
gosh.
makes yuck.
I just this recipe calls for Bisquick. Let me find another one. But yeah,
Mm.
it's kind of like biscuits and blackberries, like or strawberries. You could do it with any fruit, but it's a dumpling recipe, is what I'm
Chapati
looking at.
or tortilla bread, or
Hmm.
bread and regular or red beans.
Yep. You can make
Mhm.
tortillas pretty cheaply if you have vegetable shortening and flour and you've got your beans.
Yeah,
Definitely a
Homestead
struggle.
Aquarius. My parents made big pots of chili or goulash to make supper for many meals for us,
Right.
or spaghetti
That's
or
what
chili.
we do
Yeah,
chili here too. Yeah,
yeah,
couple
to make
meals.
it go farther, and it's like, yeah, it would almost be worth it to go, you know, for each one of us to go, okay, I'm going to challenge myself for the next, 2 weeks or 3 weeks and go, here's my budget. And let's just see how many homemade,
Mm,
like from scratch meals that I can make and
right.
see if I've got some money left over at the end of it or, yeah, yeah, with
One of the things
cheese.
too is looking into your food pantries that are local or your churches that have traveling food pantries that do drop-offs will help your budget. And you don't necessarily always have to like qualify financially because there's those people that are like right on the border and it's like, oh, I make just enough to where I don't qualify, but I'm making just enough to where I'm struggling really hard to feed my family. So there are some places where you can get, a box full that'll help
Yes,
you
yes,
through the month.
yes,
And
yeah.
there's no shame in it. I mean, in all
No,
honesty, we do it. And what we do is we take very few things from it and then we pass it on. Like if we're having a good week, good month,
yeah,
we barely take anything and we pass it on to somebody else who might need it more. But yeah, we're doing it right now in these times too,
absolutely.
because we're on one income. It's not easy.
No,
Okay, I actually with this recipe, I did the print so we wouldn't have the pop-ups as much.
okay.
This is the dumplings. It's the blackberry you make blackberry sauce with your blackberries, granulated sugar, water, lemon juice. You can add some ground cinnamon and vanilla if you have it. And then the dumplings are basically flour, baking powder, ground cinnamon, salt, granulated sugar. Same thing. You can make these more like a biscuit if you don't have all these. Unsalted butter,
Nice.
buttermilk, and vanilla extra. And that thing too, I remember my grandmother having buttermilk, and it wasn't like a, wow, we've got buttermilk.
Right.
They just, because buttermilk, you go and buy the buttermilk now, and it's pricey in
It
our grocery
is.
store. So I know you can make your own with the vinegar, and I think is it whole milk or cream? You can make it. But yeah, I was surprised at the prices of buttermilk during the holidays.
And when you
What?
look at this recipe, like because blackberries, you can go out and pick them yourself. So,
Right,
you're
wild
looking
butt.
at, a little bit of sugar, some flour, like it's minimal ingredients, not expensive ingredients, but you can make such a delicious
Right,
dessert or breakfast,
dessert
right?
or breakfast. Right,
It's
exactly.
it's really, and it's like we have to get back to being creative. So,
Yes, I agree. That's the same thing too with making like they used to call it like a mess up when you couldn't get the jam to set, but you make blackberry syrups.
yep.
So they're delicious.
Pumpkins and any wild
Delicious.
animal or bird fed my grandparents. Okay. Dumplings cooked on stews. Oh,
Okay.
the crab mac and cheese hot dogs and frozen vegetables like peas and carrots.
Mm.
Oh, good
Good
morning, Anne. Good to see you.
morning.
Top of the morning to you. Shepherd's pie again, so good and such a good thing to
Yes.
use with leftovers. And that's the thing, you go, I'm making mashed potatoes, but I'm going to make some extra mashed potatoes so that I can actually
Right.
make a shepherd's pie.
And shepherd's
It's
pie, you can change the meats according to what's on sale. Like in other countries too, they'll use
absolutely.
lamb, they'll use goat, they'll use, you can use beef. Um, and they even do it like a fish pie. Chicken pie would be chicken pot pie, but you can do it too, like a shepherd's pie.
Hmm. Oatmeal with real or dehydrated freeze dried fruit.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so we did put out the hot water cornbread, but maybe the recipe you've got is the one that David likes to see. So, and potato cakes, yes.
Yep.
Ooh, so a struggle dessert is ambrosia rice or tapioca, canned fruit, and no Cool Whip. We're staying. We want to.
Ambrosia now
It's
is expensive to make, Mike. I make it during the holidays. Unless you well, if you go and get it, like maybe at the Dollar Tree, some of the stuff, because it's mandarin oranges, it's those maraschino cherries, marshmallows, a whipped cream or Cool Whip, coconut. So, I don't know. It's delicious. I make it during the holidays because I can eat a whole bowl myself. But I get really nice cherries from like Whole Foods because I'm a brat. Oh, and pineapple sometimes people put in it instead. Yeah.
Would you be able to go and get the chocolate gravy and bring it up, please, Carol?
Okay. Out of the side chat, sure. Thank you, Miss Sharon.
Yes, thank you.
Let me find where she
and then Marty says, Mom made the best cooked mayo, potato, egg, and pasta salad. So good with it. Yeah, we've been making our own mayonnaise now. With Staples, you can do a lot. So Tigsy says it's too easy. Cornmeal, salt, unsalted butter, hot water, and to soften the cornmeal to make patties and grease and fry them. That's it. Done.
Oh, okay. So it is. Okay.
Ooh, she says maybe I'll make a video on one day. Maybe you should make it sooner than then.
Yes.
You know, because right now people are looking, like right now some hot topics are,
right. Meals. Hey, let's do that. Why don't we do a thing? You do like Diva, in the dirt, struggle meals.
Struggle
challenge.
meals.
Hashtag struggle meals.
That would be so good. Okay. Take care, Laura, and stay safe. Love to you as well.
Stay safe, Laura. Much love.
Yeah. Right. So again, regular milk and a little bit of lemon or vinegar for your buttermilk.
Thank you, Hedgehog. Thank you. Our two bakers, you and Laura. Well, I'm sure there's more in the side chat, but the ones that no, that's not it. I just went to the search.
No, Serena, I'm not ignoring you. I'm trying to stay focused on our topic of looking at struggle meals and budget meals. So we're not really talking a lot about gardening, but I know that David, he was paying attention to you and answering some of your questions. So
right. Sure.
Yeah, I'm not a rice pudding.
I love rice pudding. A good Cuban rice pudding, I'm all in. Just give it to me. But I can do raisins, but I prefer it without the raisins and a lot of cinnamon. And oh my gosh, if we have whipped cream, just give me a bowl and like a big spoon.
Larks, welcome, Larks.
Yay, Larks is there.
So I'm just going to read what she said. We would have had something called hamburger meat, beans, and corn. It had ground beef, ranch-style beans, and corn, like a goulash, sometimes with macaroni noodles. Delish.
Yep.
Let's have a look
at
this.
That reminds me. Larks, did you guys ever make like the slow-cooked beef with the big butter noodles too? That was really good. Like stew beef, and you make it into like a gravy, and then you serve it with butter noodles. And sometimes you can throw in like a veggie with it. Oh my gosh, I used to love my mom's. It was so good. And some people make it with like green pepper, stew meat, and they turn it into a gravy and the butter noodles. Oh, can't eat any of it anymore. I'm having a hard time with so this doesn't make any sense. Oh, there's the cocoa. Okay, so the ingredients are for the
chocolate gravy.
Thank you. 3/4 cup white sugar, 1/4 cup cocoa, 3 tablespoons all-purpose flour, 2 cups milk, 1 tablespoon butter softened, and 1 teaspoon vanilla. So you're making a gravy. You're making a roux, but then you're adding in sweet.
But then what would you put the gravy on? Or
they put it over biscuits. They put it over biscuits.
Okay, so then it's nice for breakfast,
right, Miss Shira? It's over biscuits. It's very southern. It's a very southern dish.
Cool.
That's how I knew about it, because I had heard other people from the South talking about it. Let me get rid of these.
Yeah, so Serena, if you have a struggle meal that your family would make, we'd love to hear that. So if you have something that you guys used to make that would, make the dollar stretch a whole lot more, we'd love to hear that from you today. My mom doesn't use all those ingredients in her dumplings. She would do a simple biscuit recipe, firm the balls and drop them into the blackberry mixture and let everything cook together. Oh, so that it's just sitting
Yeah.
there. Nice.
Yeah. I saw one of the pictures like that, TXE, and my mother-in-law made really good like a rollout dumpling, and I still can't get that one right. Her recipe. It was just so good.
This one's very interesting. Blend oatmeal or cornmeal with tomatoes with greens and add onion or spices. Pour over rice or noodles. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Ew, tapioca. I'll go hungry, thanks. You and me too.
Ah!
You and me, Barry.
Is it a texture thing for you guys? Is that
Yeah.
why?
Okay,
I feel like
Tigsy, I appreciate you apologizing, but I think I would like you to give me a medal because I read it without the typos and had no problem.
right. Mhm.
You and I are on the same wavelength. I hear you. I hear all that you're trying to say, lovely.
Yeah, you did great, Kingsley. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
As a kid, like TZ, I didn't even grow up like with a mom who made from scratch dumplings. We had the Bisquick, and whatever the Bisquick recipe was, that was our.
Serena says, I didn't even start cooking till I got out of college because it was focused on school, work, and bowling. Right, but did your family have budget-friendly meals that you go,
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, when I was growing up, my mom, one of ours was hamburger beans on toast, which my mother hated hamburger. She hates
Mhm.
pork and beans. She hates them. But
Mhm.
my brother and I, a few years back, we were talking about it. I loved hamburger beans, but it was like we were eating poor that day. So
Mhm.
yeah. Crazy Life
Yeah.
Homestead, welcome in, welcome in.
No, I was just thinking of you. Good to see you, Crazy Life Homestead.
Mhm. Okay, Larks also says, we also stretch breakfast sausage by chopping it up and adding rusty taters and pepper rings. There you go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like the potato hashes. Absolutely.
Okay, so Serena says, mother made meatloaf when I first came to live with them. She wouldn't let me leave the table until I at least tasted it. I discovered it was my favorite thing she made. Aww.
Mhm.
But I find that meatloaf is expensive to make. Like when I think about making meatloaf for my family, my size of family, it's not just a
Mhm.
pound of hamburger.
Right.
Like, you gotta to make
You
it stretch
stretch it with
farther.
bread. You stretch it with cheap bread and
Okay.
milk. You
Okay.
you you saturate the bread with some milk so it's moist, and that's what stretches it out, plus the vegetables that you add in. And some people even, this might sound gross, but they put it in like a food processor or a blender,
Hmm.
and there's your meatloaf. It seems like a big mess, but it cooks up nice and smooth when you cut into it.
Right. Yeah. Just makes it
Yeah.
so sausage like so.
Right,
Yeah.
Tikati? Did your mom do the butter though? You gotta do the, like, pat of butter and mix it in the noodles before you add, like, the beef. Oh, I miss that.
Delicious.
So good.
Oh, so great grand auntie Delilah made a tuna casserole. Mom called it tuna and mac and cheese. Yes.
Yeah,
Please
sounds good.
remember to hit that like if you haven't already. I do really appreciate that. Um, Here's this. Got an add on as soon as you started talking, Sunshine. But yeah, beef tips
Mhm.
and egg noodles with some wash your
Watch your
sister
sister.
sauce.
That's where I got it from. That Lark told me how to say it like that.
Wash
Watch
your
your
sister
sister.
sauce and sour
I
cream.
love it.
So that almost seems like that's almost like a type of beef stroganoff. Moves it
It
into
can
that
be if you
almost.
add the sour cream, yeah. We didn't add the sour cream because my mom was, like, not into anything creamy. I think she was lactose intolerant, but didn't know it because she didn't like milk. But what's so funny is a woman would eat cheesecake and ice cream. It
Oh, I'm
was
very,
just, like, things like that.
very sorry to hear that, Serena.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Very sorry.
I
Hmm.
am so sorry. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
I'm so sorry, Serena.
In Minnesota, we eat a hot dish, also known as casserole. Pretty much anything with noodles baked in a dish.
Right? It's like, dude, if we can add eggs and cheese and things like that, yep,
Mm-hmm.
make it puff up, makes it even more special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is like a mole, you're right. Yep, the chocolate,
Chocolate gravy and also the tomato gravy.
chocolate gravy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Right. One thing my dad would make is, and back then, of course, it wasn't as expensive, but it was English muffins, and he had a garden, so it was fresh garden tomatoes and bacon, like one slice of bacon or even a half a piece of bacon, and then you would put a piece of cheese on top and put it under the broiler and let it melt down. And they were like open face sandwiches, and they were the most delicious things. We loved them. They were so good.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he had at the time like 3 kids, and he was a single dad for a little bit. So yeah, that was one of his struggle meals that he loved to make. And sometimes you can add onion too. I'll bring an onion.
Egg noodles with stewed tomatoes.
Yep.
And Serena
My
says that
parents
was
did
his wake up call, and he divorced her stepmom after that. So that's good.
Yeah, I'm glad you got out of that situation. Yeah, my parents did the stewed, they would do the stewed tomatoes with mashed potatoes and then fried smelts. Back in the day, smelts
Ooh.
were like really inexpensive, and they would fry
Mm-hmm.
the smelts. And it progressed to fried flounder with like the Progresso Italian breadcrumbs. So they got a little fancy as they made a little bit more money. Hey,
Yeah.
GT.
Welcome, GT. What's up? What's up? Yes, we don't read the typos around here because we all make them. We all know
That's
what
right.
we're trying to say.
Right.
So yes, welcome, GT. Yes. So Tixie says, I learned to cook when I was young from grandma, mom and the aunts in Louisiana. Everything made from scratch, grown on the farm. Yeah. And it's like,
Love that.
we so need to get back to that cooking from scratch. It does take longer, but if you work smarter, by batch cooking and making up multiple things, number one, you're going to be knowing what's in the food. Number two, the nutrition is actually going to be into it. And number three, you are going to be saving money. So Crazy Life's Homestead says,
so go ahead.
We had cube steak, shake and bake chicken, or pork chops. There were 8 mouths to feed. Go ahead, Carol.
I was going to say, it went right back out the back door. We'll come back to it. It just left. Sorry, guys. I'm not feeling well tonight, so the brain is just...
Yeah. Larks is with me. She says meatloaf is very expensive.
Well, like I said, 3 pounds. You don't have to necessarily use beef. Use chicken or turkey. And RBJ's had that 3 pounds for $10. That's a pretty good deal. You can definitely, make a pretty good meal out of that. But yeah, I guess it can get expensive.
So Crazy Life Home said the meatloaf, 2 eggs, breadcrumbs, warm mortar, salt, pepper, onions, garlic powder.
I'll be darned. There's a rice with cheese croquette. Sweet potato croquette.
Ooh.
Interesting. Okay. Hold on. I don't know what I was thinking of before.
Very sorry to hear that, Serena. My birth mother was murdered when I was 10 weeks old. And I had meningitis at 4 months, and my dad had a hard time adjusting to these 2 major events.
Yeah, I bet.
But, you've made it through, and, growing and education. So it's something to be so proud of. You survived a lot of things. You've not survived. You've lived through a lot of things. Most potluck dishes were struggle meals fancied up with things like breadcrumbs on top. Just put some breadcrumbs. Oh, look at it's a fancy meal.
True. Yes.
With the meatloaf, add tomato sauce. When meatloaf gets brown, add cubed potatoes to cook with the meat. Yeah, I guess those would be really good ways. So.
I was trying to see if they had a casserole area, but they don't. So
You got a little bunny under your grill?
oh, well, there you go.
Yes.
There's a struggle meal right there. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Smelt, is that like a fish? Yes. It's a type
Small.
of fish.
They're really small.
Yeah.
Very small. It's almost like a bait fish. And they were inexpensive.
Or like kippers or sardines.
They're like a sardine, yeah. Exactly. I was going to say, if you can make a good pie crust, you can also make a meal out of that where you just stuff the pie crust and you do a braiding. You'll see people do it with that Pillsbury croissant dough, but you can do it also with a pie. And yeah, it looks fancy and you just, cut off sections and, you're having a little meal, but feeling like you're having a fancy something because it's braided and looks pretty. Yeah, it's venison.
Okay, thanks, Mike, for letting us know. Make sure you wash behind the taps, please.
Yeah, please come clean mine too. I just need reorganization. Just come and reorganize all my cabinets for me, Mike. Please, thanks.
Yes, that's another thing. My kids loved carrots and cream sauce. And I would just make a white bechamel and then, throw the carrots in them. And again, it just makes it's more bulkier and it stretches it. Yeah,
we
hamburger
had
with onion gravy, which also it's kind of like it's kind of like a type of steak.
Salisbury steak. Yeah, we would. I was going to say something, and again, it went out my door.
My mom growing up, they used a lot of wild edibles.
Well, here it's more survival crop, you would call it, but
so the Whistle Stop Cafe, that was from the movie is Fried Green Tomatoes. I missed the conversation that was going on about what that was about, but fried green tomatoes. Okay, so who's
also gleaning? I don't know if they do that anymore, but even other gardeners who have larger gardens, like acreage, might allow you to go and glean.
Right.
And gleaning is just going behind after they've harvested the best of the best, and you're going behind them and gleaning what's left behind, or harvesting what's left behind.
She's having a baby. Great movie as well. Cried really hard in that one, 1988. That's the movie. It's Grupa. Yes.
Grupa.
Storms. No, Carol and I are not in the same room, even though I just
know, right?
when you met, we do kind of look like we're in the same room, but just in different angles of it.
I'm just tired, Storm, so I didn't turn on all my stuff.
Yeah, and I'm up. I'm up in my hometown.
Right.
I'm actually in this isn't the bedroom I grew up in as a little girl.
Right. They used also, and I don't think we could do it now, but they would make those Jello mold struggle meals. They would just stick things in Jello and make these like beautiful bundt cake shapes and have things in it. Like vegetables, like Waldorf salad. They would make like a Waldorf salad inside of one. I don't know if I could eat it, but yeah.
There is some of those Minnesota recipes where they make the jellied salads, and it's like it'll have all sorts of fish and weird stuff, and in a beautiful fish-shaped mold in it. And it's like the one guy he made it up, and And he goes, "This is just awful, 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 awful."
Yeah.
So,
That's from the Nordic, I think, right? They're Nordic roots.
mm-hmm. Yeah. If y'all eat fruitcake, all this on y'all. No fruitcake passes by my lips. I can tell you that. But my mother loves fruitcake.
The only one I do eat, Larks, is the Kentucky it's like Kentucky bourbon or whiskey fruitcake. My mom made a mean one, and it's delicious.
My mom's is bourbon. And she just loves making it. She loves the making it. And she goes, you get all the chopped fruit. And she says it just looks like jewels all in the dough. And yeah. And then she makes it. Yeah. I know.
With the brown sugar. And it just smells so good in the oven. The only problem is all those dyes that are in the cherries that you're chopping up and things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Those things we didn't think of when we were younger.
Mm-hmm. Ew, I'm with you, Crazy Life Homestead.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So I think we'll stay on a little bit longer, but depends on, kind of what the conversation as it goes. But what I will do is once I post this up on YouTube, I will probably cut it off, and so that it's just an hour and a half long video. Right. So I do want to just thank Carol for joining me here, and also for Miss Sharon for posting up everybody's channels. And for those of you that will be watching the replay, we just ask you also put some comments into the chat to let us know some of your, what do you call them, Carol?
Struggle meals.
Your struggle meals. Your favorite struggle meals that you didn't like, maybe as a kid, you didn't know it was a struggle meal. So
that's right.
Bye-bye, and have a great rest of your weekend, or wherever you are, the rest of your day. Oh, hang on. I hear my mother. I'm going to come right back. We're not stopping, Mom. I'm just going to cut it off there. I'll be right back.
Okay. You're so cute. Oh, please welcome to the stage, Shawnee Grows. Yay. Hey, girl. What's up?
What happened with the sound? Did Diva leave?
She just had to go pop over. Her mom called her. She's coming back.
I was like, what did I click? Okay.
Hi,
everybody. Hello. Yes, I came to the live. I'm here. Not organized. I need to get organized. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, the Kentucky bourbon in Canada, I don't know about. Do they have a lack of it up there? It's probably like $7,000 a bottle if they have it.
Oh, it's just because of what's going on.
Oh, okay.
There's no American things bottled on the shelves. It's hidden in a secret room. Yeah.
Got it.
What is this button? That's not what I clicked.
They coveted it all into a cave.
It's hiding. Pop out chat. That's what I wanted. Okay.
You're too funny.
Well, she did it so she can cut it. She did all that to cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a strategy here.
Exactly. Because people click on it and then they'll see like 4 hours.
Yeah. So now we can just hang out.
Oh, I meant to tell you, and Gary's not in here tonight, but YouTube police left a message for you on my post about my dog that passed, like helping you with your hours. So
yeah, he's live tonight.
Respond. I have to respond to him and be like, whoops. But let's see. Where are we? Ooh, pineapple upside down cake is delicious.
Someone that used to travel from the north to the south taught me how to make a pineapple upside down cake in a cast iron. He's not alive anymore, but I still remember those moments of him teaching me that.
I've seen that. They're delicious.
And I haven't made one, honestly, since.
Yeah, I haven't made one either.
I don't think I could eat it.
I have made, and this is not a struggle meal because it's got quite a few ingredients, but that hummingbird cake, that's with the pineapple and the
Yeah.
coconut.
I
It's
want to
delicious
make
with the
that.
cream cheese frosting. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I
It's very
forgot that
rich,
thing
but
existed.
delicious.
Hmm.
The veteran is here.
CR.
Too funny. I know. Oh my gosh, Shawty's at the party now. Totally. Shawty.
Hello, everyone.
There's a pineapple juice in
I
place if you
lost at
want it.
cribbage tonight, in case you're keeping score.
Oh no.
But I didn't
You
get
did.
skunked, so I had cake anyways, Carol, so we're good.
Good. Cake helps everything. I've never played cribbage. I honestly have not played cribbage, and I've
Okay.
never played chess. I would love to learn how to play chess.
Yeah, I've never played
before.
chess. I would need a cheat sheet for chess.
Yeah. Yeah, you have snacks?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want to get into that word with the T just for YouTube. Oh, okay. Good night, Mo. Have a good night. You're trying to outlast the storms. Yeah, I've done lives like that before, larks, and just stayed on for people when it was a really bad system coming through.
Like to have something to do to keep their mind off of it, you mean?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Brian
Today,
Norcross, go ahead.
what were you saying?
Brian Norcross was the weatherman who did that for us during hurricanes. He would stay on and talk, weather about weather or whatever, just to keep people like calm.
Today, people were coming up on weird times for lives to say we're okay, to be like, we made it through last night.
Yeah.
And it was great because I was concerned about a few people and I don't have a way to talk to them other than if they go live.
On
You
YouTube.
know? Yes.
Yes. True. It's true because it's a lot. It's from one little seed you get a huge plant, and yep, it feels like you've got free food once it starts really producing. Which dairy product is always depressed? The blue cheese. Poor blue cheese. I use the pineapple supreme. Oh, okay. You use the mix instead of from scratch. That's fine. I know. I've felt that way since Wednesday. We went and saw John Foreman in concert, and that was amazing. But a lot of restaurants serve tap water, and this one was in Boca, and I grew up in Boca, and they chlorinate the water heavily there. And I think it threw off both my daughter and I, like our bellies, because we're just not used to that. Yeah, I saw that storm, so it really looked like it was hanging over you guys. Oh, wow. That's, oh my goodness.
Is there still fires where Miss Sharon is? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, what's going on with that, Miss Sharon? How are you guys doing?
Tornado? What are we leaving? The door bag. What's
Door bag, I would think
I missed that
fire.
part. What you're right, I think fire too.
It could be either.
Or flood.
A lot of people are just getting winds or even just hail, I've heard, Serena, and not like full-on rainstorms. It's very bizarre weather. I forgot to actually spray mine, and they just dried up. Like, completely forgot I had them going, and it was very sad. They were doing great, and then I walked over and I was like, "I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." They're like all shriveled
Okay, so
up.
here's the update. Yes, my mother was yelling because she did not want the live to stop. She goes, "I'm
Oh.
enjoying this." No.
Oh,
Yeah,
And
it's like a walk down memory lane with
I'm
all those
not
memes.
stopping it completely. It was like, no, we'll keep going, but we're, in case we don't talk about recipes, but my mom's enjoying that. And then it was like, hey, do you want any, ginger ale or a snack? So I got her a snack, went to the loo, and then got myself a little bevy.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a Pellegrino and cherry juice. What was kind of cool today was when we Theron picked up the boxes at one of those traveling food pantries, and it had pomegranate juice in it. And I had just got the Pellegrino, and Pellegrino and pomegranate juice was my mom's drink every night. So it was like a little kiss from heaven. It was kind of cute. It was kind of
And
sweet.
welcome, Shawnee.
thank you.
I know. Isn't
Hi.
that awesome?
When I walked,
She's like, where did Diva go?
when I was walking out, it was like, who's Carol talking? Who's talking to Carol?
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw on the TV.
I was hopping in the shower. A commercial came on the live, and the lady sounded like Shawnee, and I'm like, is Shawnee up with her already?
So I don't know if you shared your struggle recipe.
There's all kinds of ways to talk about this in Shawnee's brain, right? There's my husband I interviewed about this. I have my childhood, my motherhood, and how I would run this show tomorrow if we started this, right? So I'd like to start with my husband's spiel of how he wanted to contribute to this conversation. And it was a lot of like, okay, we had a grilled cheese sandwich, but the soup was made with ketchup and water. Or like, or a tomato paste with water, right? And the mac and cheese with hot dogs, like Mike said, definitely was on his list. For me, it was breakfast for supper. Now we didn't have egg in a hole or anything. Like we just had a piece of toast and egg and like pancakes and stuff. And I can run that here for sure. That carried on to my family. But I don't want to eat that. I don't want to eat pancakes for supper. I'm sorry. I'll take French toast.
Sounds good.
And then the cheesy sandwich, piece of bread with it, when I was growing up, it was Miracle Whip, a sliced floppy, piece of cheese from the wrapper. And then if we were lucky, I got to put a piece of iceberg lettuce on it because it used to be like 75 cents once upon a time,
Wow.
Nowadays, for my kids, it's bread, like a whole wheat bread. I grew up with Wonder Bread. Here we have the whole wheat bread, and then I buy Chosen because it tastes like Miracle Whip and it's a better version. And then this lacy cheese, and they eat that. They can make that on their own, honestly. That's one of the things they make. And then taking a piece of bread with some kind of tomato sauce, whether it's made for pizza or not, and then cheese, make a pizza, bread pizza. My daughter loves making those.
The bread
I feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
My husband spoke about the cinnamon toast. I saw that in the chat. I'm not eating that.
Why?
I don't like cinnamon toast. I'll take jelly toast any day over cinnamon toast. Like make a from scratch jam,
Do you not like cinnamon?
I can eat cinnamon rolls.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Like,
I could eat some of them.
I can eat a cinnamon roll, but I don't like cinnamon toast. I don't like cinnamon in my French toast either. He likes that. He had something called clean out the fridge goulash every single month at the end of the month.
Brilliant.
So it's literally whatever's in there with ketchup or tomato paste and noodles. And so like when I married him, he would be like, "Can you make goulash?" And I didn't have that. So I'm looking up recipes and I could never get it right. So he finally asked his mom and she's like, "It was literally whatever we had in the fridge because I couldn't afford to go to the store." Like, that's why I can't remake it for him.
Right.
Because it was just whatever, right?
Yeah.
His grandmother grew zucchinis out the wazoo. So everything had zucchini in it. Any bread, any muffin, any pancake, any pasta, any, the potato we all know the stories of the
Mm-hmm.
wonders of the potato. That was
Right.
definitely talked about, and I can carry that on in my family. And then the last thing from him was a spaghetti noodle with butter and then the Parmesan cheese that I call fake cheese and the shaky
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Oh
That
yeah.
was like yes for him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like for me, honestly, it was burgers because we always bought a cow. So you know how much ground beef you
Mm-hmm.
get with a cow? It was like, do we have to eat a burger again? That's what we
Mm-hmm.
have, right? Or ground beef, beef
Right.
stroganoff, that was always on the menu. So it's like if I had to do this tomorrow, because at some point in our life as a married people with family, did my internet just shut off? Can you hear and see me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
you just
can. You
glitched,
Okay.
you you
but we can hear
paused.
you.
Yeah, everything went out. Okay, I'm back. I used to have to kind of run this routine. That's how I know it. This last couple years, we've been blessed with just being able to buy groceries and not think about it. But we could get to a point where I should go back to this routine. And it was Sunday. I would make the big ham, the big pork roast, the big beef roast, right?
Mm-hmm.
The meat, the protein.
Right.
Monday would be my bread day. So if I need to make buns, a loaf of bread, tortillas, muffins, if I need to whip up pancake mix, the pie crust, the biscuit, the granola, that's what I did Monday for the week. I would have the meal plan done and I would do
Wow.
bread
Right.
day that day. So obviously that's not
Wow.
all of that day, but whatever I knew I needed because we couldn't go buy it. So then Tuesday, I would make sure to make broth if I didn't have any, because broth helps with any kind of anything. I mean,
Stretching it.
Right.
there's so much flavor and
Flavor.
nutrition to add to
Mm-hmm.
anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cut up and prep the veggies. So if I knew I needed veggies cut for a soup or a stew or a chili or a hot dish, I could cut them up and put them in their own containers for the meal I needed them for, just to like work ahead of yourself while you're in the kitchen. Then the next day, do I need to cook some dried beans or rice? Because that's a process and time. Do I need to make a sauce? Do I need to make a dressing? So it was like I would just move around which day I needed to get that job done for the next day or later that day. So that
Mm.
wasn't like a recipe or a meal per
Mm-mm.
se, but that was my flow of to not be hungry at mealtime, like to have something figured out, right?
That's
Right.
brilliant, though.
And so I haven't had to do that, but I heard you guys saying like we should get back to it, and I agree.
Right.
I agree.
I'm
Oops,
sorry.
sorry. I
That's
did
okay.
that.
Yes,
Yeah,
she was asking
I
that
love that. So, what would you do on the first day
So
again?
Sunday
Uh-huh.
was like make the big meat thing.
Okay,
So if it
great.
was a roast or a ham or pork, and then Monday was bread day. Tuesday, if I need a broth or a veggie, and then Wednesday, if I needed beans or rice or a sauce or a dressing. Now, sometimes I could get half that done on Sunday. I had
Right,
nothing better to
Mhm.
do, right?
right.
Right.
One thing that I love doing to this day is honestly going to the gas station and getting a rotisserie chicken because they make the best one in town compared to the grocery stores. And if you
Really,
Mhm.
buy them on Monday, they're like 50% off. So I would get a
really.
rotisserie
Wow.
chicken and then you can
Yeah.
have a sandwich or salad with it on day one or
Right.
eat it with bun. And then I can make Alfredo with it. We'd always do
Mhm.
Alfredo
Done
with
that.
noodles and
Mm-hmm,
a
Yep.
white sauce.
mm-hmm,
Or you could do like chicken with biscuits, and then I'd always
Mhm.
obviously take that carcass and any drippings and any fat and make a
Mhm.
broth, and you can have any kind of soup you wanted, whether it was a
Right.
taco chicken soup, a dumpling soup, a chicken noodle soup. So it's
Yep.
like to me that was a way to stretch things and to feed
I
people
do that.
was that
I
gas
still do
station
that.
rotisserie chicken,
Mhm.
right?
that's brilliant. What
Ours
do
is
you
the
guys what
Publix. I do that. Yep.
what do
I
you
love
guys
them.
pay for a rotisserie chicken?
They're
When it's
actually
not on
sometimes
sale,
Yeah,
cheaper. Go ahead.
$6 or $8.
when it's
Yeah,
not
they're
on sale.
yeah.
Right. That's
They're
full price.
actually cheaper than our chickens down here, like
So
that
it's
you would
Yes,
cheaper
roast
than chicken at
yourself.
the store. Exactly, Carol. And
yeah,
It's
it's already cooked.
crazy.
yeah.
Mhm.
But it's not. The
Right.
thing is that not that I'm against it, but of buying rotisserie chickens because it's all done cooked. But
Right.
because it's been injected with it, you
Right.
Mhm.
know, when you're buying a chicken at the store, you're buying a 2 pound chicken from the store.
Mhm.
You're buying a probably a 1 pound chicken rotisserie that's been puffed up to be two
Mhm.
pounds. So,
100%.
but
Yes, we do.
Yeah, with the
that's amazing.
juices.
I think ours are regularly. I think they're like $9. I think is a cheaper one, and then there are some that are 10, 12 for the same rotisserie chicken that you guys are getting.
Right.
12 and $13 for a
Wow. 'Cause
rotisserie
yeah,
chicken.
if I get the sale, it's like $5. Yeah.
That's great.
So
I
it's
think ours are
Like
like
you just go, I'm gonna go buy
7.99.
5 of them,
so I
right?
buy a couple. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's gonna
I think
that's gonna make amazing meals.
Because
Like
it's
just
like casserole, enchiladas, put
Mhm.
some in the freezer.
Right.
I always save the carcass. Use the
Yep.
container to grow a garden in it. Like, come on,
yes, because it's got its own dome
It's
lid.
got a lid. Yeah. So yeah, that
One
was what
a
I had.
Ron Popel rotisserie years ago, and
I
we love
remember
it for
them.
it broke, and I saved up and got a replacement. We use it that much, well worth it. Why do the
Ooh.
name sounds familiar?
Oh, it's like a
Infomercial
thing
man.
on your counter, and is it a home appliance we're talking about?
Yeah, it's the one
Okay.
that infomercial guy.
I have to turn
Just
my
sold
heat
things.
down.
Yeah, I did. I turned ours down earlier today. I was like, said to my mom,
I
"Can I
wish I
turn
could
the
turn the
heat?"
heat down. We have the AC on because of the heat here.
I'm gonna go look at that
It's
Ron
external.
Popel. Ron Popel.
Yeah, the set it and forget it guy. Just set it and forget it.
Yeah.
He was the infomercial. He was like one of the first ones who was like really infomercial savvy.
The other thing that came in my head when I was listening to you guys and making my notes was I used to have to really hawkeye the ads for the buy one get one free pasta sale, whatever was on sale for produce that week. Like that's what was going to be in our meals, like just shopping
Right.
smarter. I definitely had to actually pay attention. Where now I'm kind of like la 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 la. What do I want?
Me too. Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
I have to pay more attention now. Now that we want to make, well, now that I
There's
want
the
to make
machines.
There is the
Wow.
machines. I'm
Mhm.
gonna make it full screen here. Yeah, so I do remember these rotisseries
Mhm.
for the countertop. Oh, some of them are on sale, and some of them are
Ooh.
sold out. $134 for this guy. That's great. Woo, that's not bad. But yeah, so you could do your own
Yeah, and
rotisserie
it's
chicken.
two at once. That's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Does it come with the injector, Kelly? Like to do like the injections yourself?
This one's $249. Let's just see.
Aw, we're beautiful. Thanks, J3GS Farm. Good to see you.
I don't know if it. Oh, here's what comes with it. Can you guys all see? Oh, share. Can you see this?
Nice.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay, so this is what you get. But wait, there's more at the bottom here.
Of course.
Includes everything to prepare gourmet meals at home. So you get the spit, the heat shield, basket, oven gloves, food ties, carving platform, nonstick drip pans. But wait, there's more. Oh, it just zoomed in on it. So this is all that you get in there for the 6,000 Platinum Series. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is.
I got to come back to the page here. So that is the is it Popeel? Ron Popeel. I think it's
Popel. Ron Popel.
I think it's Ron Popeel. And so that's what Lark's has. Two to three Cornish hens or two smaller hens. But if it's a 5 pound or more, I can't see it. It's really only one. So you need to have a bigger.
Okay.
That's an. I was away so that's an R2 feed you unit. 2 chickens, no waiting.
Love it.
I was trying to come up with like the scientific equation or mathematical equation, I guess you'd say, for a struggle meal, right? Like,
yeah.
Well, there's always going to be like a noodle or a biscuit, or I mean, how many people always had that buttered bread with something.
Yep.
Like my husband does it
Right.
to this day, and I'm like, "What are you doing? You don't have to do that anymore." And he's like, "But it goes with this, and that's what my brain does." Like,
Right.
yeah, like we always have more vegetables usually, and
Mhm.
it's like maybe not always the greatest vegetable, but it's
Right.
what you had that was on sale,
Mhm.
or maybe you grew it, whatever. And then, originally the protein was saved for the weekend.
Mhm.
Back when, like, there wasn't
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
protein every single, as far as I mean protein as in, like, chicken, beef, pork, because proteins are in peas, protein are in beans, protein are I shouldn't have said
Yeah.
it that way, but yeah.
That's a lot of other countries too. It's like it's a special thing to get a chicken, and then they learn how to part it out really well. Like J3GS Farm one time gave that test to Maureen and I. I was like, "Well, how
Mhm.
many pieces can you cut it? How many pieces can you cut out of a chicken?" And we're like, "Oh, trick
10.
question."
10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carb, fat, protein,
Mhm.
spice equals a meal.
Mhm.
Hmm. Like we
What's
always had
hard
salad. My
is
mom was
Mm.
I was
always
gonna just
made a
say
fresh,
that.
fresh
Yeah,
salad with every
that's a
single.
southern thing too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you have we have our
Side salad.
meat, we have our starch, she's got a vegetable, and there was always a fresh salad.
Yeah. Side
Hmm.
salads and, the sweet tea was a thing. With the buttered bread, like Shawnee said.
Mhm.
You knew that when she cut the cake real
Mhm.
thin. Well, see, we were a family of 7, and my mom portioned out everything. That was just normal for us. And my mom
Right.
said there was no leftovers. Like she said, yeah,
Mm.
we didn't make bucket soup or your casserole, your goulash casserole that your husband had growing up.
Yeah.
Like ours was the
Ooh,
bucket soup for my kids, right?
15. How do you
15.
give
Well, I
is
can't like
the back? What are you cutting
yeah.
that back in
Well,
half? Because there's not that
Like
much
the
what
meat
a,
in the back.
liver, are we counting that or something? No.
no, the liver
Yeah,
would be gone.
recounting
No, but you
internal
can take a
parts.
breast. Like once you take the breast off, you should cut it in half because
The
it is a big
Yeah,
portion.
the
it is a big
tenderloin of
portion.
the breast, yeah.
So there is another one, so
Yeah.
um so about the ninja, Serena's saying ninja foodie is that it only takes 25 minutes to bake each cake instead of 32 to 36 minutes
Oh
like
my
in a
gosh.
regular oven. For the full size
Ugh,
pineapple upside
all
down.
this cake talk. I'm gonna want a cake.
Nerd moment. There are essential proteins, essential fats, but no essential carbohydrates for the body to function. Yes, that means nutty buddies are not necessarily to survive unless you live in
Darn.
Bama.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think that's great. How about struggle grilling? Adults got hamburgers and kids got hot dogs. That's true.
True.
Yeah. And Miss
And the
Sharon
corn.
says every Monday Granny had pinto beans and cornbread. That
Mhm.
that's it,
I've heard
that's
that.
it except for the occasional fried tater.
Mhm.
Mm. Yeah,
I've heard that meal a lot, Miss Sharon.
I never when I was raising my kids never thought, okay, we can have a meal without a protein, like unless we were doing pancakes for supper or something like that.
Mhm.
Right.
Um, but it's like, yeah, you could just make a meal that would be more bean and rice focused and go, yeah, we don't
True.
have to have any beef in it and stuff
Right.
like that. And that
Yeah.
again, it
Mhm.
helps to stretch your meal, right? Stretch your dollar.
Yeah, like spaghetti without meat, for example.
Yes.
Like,
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, with Italians, like they don't have a real big thick sauce. It's a smear
mhm,
of tomatoes on it. And
mhm.
same
Right.
with the one where you were talking about the noodles, butter,
Yeah,
and
Parmesan cheese.
Parmesan cheese. That
Yes.
is traditional for Italians, and I would
Mhm.
put a little bit of some spices in it. My sons loved it. They loved that
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Tixie. Thanks for
We used
coming
to live in
in.
it. Good night, Tixie. Have a great night. Wow,
It
the
also
breast is 4 pieces. What? That's
One
a
breast,
big
4
old
pieces,
breast.
or two breasts, 4 pieces.
it also made me think about doing it now in our world, because you guys mentioned the comparison of back then you relied on that ration of the egg, the butter, the
Mhm.
flour. milk thing,
Right.
or maybe you were growing that on your farm, and it's like, okay, well, this day and age, you made a really good point about the price of those ingredients. And so what does
Yeah,
this look
going
like?
up.
Like if we all created a struggle meal menu plan tomorrow, we had to make a
Mm,
grocery list. Like, what are you guys shopping for? Right? Because
right.
it probably isn't the eggs, maybe
Yeah,
flour,
I don't
you
buy
know,
Right.
eggs.
Well, you don't have to.
because you
Yeah.
have chickens or because you don't
You
have
have,
a meal
yeah,
plan with,
you have egg shooters in your backyard.
yeah,
I got egg shooters.
yeah.
Get little egg shooters.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then or if somebody has, if they have some different type of flour that they use, that you could grind up yourself, to really make a really low economical struggle meal.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah, because then you're looking at like what we were saying before, the beans and the rice
And it's like,
and
would I make pasta if I had to? Would I make pasta? I don't know.
Homemade.
yeah.
Would I? Yeah, well, homemade.
Oh, it's so good.
They used to make spatzel is it
Would I
spatzel?
actually do
Yeah, the
it?
Germans. I know.
But when you taste it,
Spatzel's easier. You
okay.
don't need the roller. It's the same thing as pasta, but you're just kind of rolling it out on your counter and throwing it in. It's almost a cross between a dumpling and a pasta.
Okay.
A
Yeah,
spatzel.
we made ravioli. So we weren't putting it
Mm,
through a and it was a pumpkin sage. So our own homemade pumpkin and sage.
yum.
Good night, CR. Or
Night.
have a good snack time.
Yes.
So we weren't putting it through an extra press. We were just rolling it out. So
Okay.
pintos and cornbread. Mm.
So were
Well,
you just rolling out the sheets and then kind
mhm.
of cutting it with
Yeah,
the cutter? Okay.
yeah. But rolling it out is thin,
Mhm.
thin, 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 thin. I didn't. Again, it was my daughter Bethany. She was the one that was. She wanted an Italian courses meal for her
Mm-hmm.
birthday, and I said,
Mm,
no problem. I'll do the cooking,
Hmm.
but you do all the prep work. And so we had
right.
different courses throughout the evening, and one of them was this pumpkin sage ravioli.
Yeah, that's what we were just saying. Maureen could kick off the hashtag struggle meals
Hmm.
and then it can come back towards this live.
But what's our is it just what's your best struggle meal?
Yeah.
What is the best, fulfilling, because I can do that. I can put together, hashtag struggle meals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, rice and ramen. Ramen got me through college, and then I couldn't eat it again for like 3 years after that. Sadly, though, like a lot of the ramen, you can't really digest it well. But when you're hungry, that's actually a good thing because it stays
Yeah.
in your belly. So it's not
Hmm.
necessarily good for your health, but it fills you up.
Yeah.
Mac and cheese and mashed potatoes.
I think mine was French
Yeah,
fries in
yeah, that
college.
and pizza, and we had the real Philly cheesesteaks because I was not far from Philadelphia
Philly cheesesteaks. Oh my.
in the middle of the night. And I liked jalapenos on mine. I liked mine with a kick. So good.
Yum.
I know now I'm hungry. I'm so hungry. I'm like CR now. I'm like, I need snack time before bed. Okay, breast cut up for
2 breasts cut up for 4, 2, and then is fat 6 pieces.
and that I think fact, and that is in fact 6 pieces.
No, I think he's counting the fat on top, the skin,
Yeah.
as a piece.
What?
Yeah. Not taking the fat off that.
Poor person who just gets the skin. You just get the skin.
Oh no,
Sunflower.
I'll take the skin. I love the skin.
I like the skin, but if that's all you get, I don't know. I think I'll take one of the pieces with meat.
Mm.
Yep, we used to do that. That's what Shawnee was saying, not the egg in the hole. But my dad would fry. He would fry 2 eggs. You get fried toast, and then he would slice tomatoes with it, because he would grow the tomatoes. So those were free.
I'm laughing at you, Mike.
What do you say?
It's true. You just take any, like, it's a cheese, a milk, a noodle, a veggie mix, and then a protein, and you put it in a 9x13 and you bake her for 15 minutes, and ta-da, you have a hot dish.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what they call it up there.
Yeah, he called.
Which
Yeah,
is a casserole. Yeah.
yeah, he told us.
Yeah, a
Yeah, it's called.
casserole.
It's a hot dish. It's casserole
Hot
hmm
from
dish.
Minnesota.
Mike,
It's,
I was searching for stuff like while you guys were live, and I found a chicken tater tot hot dish, and I've never seen that before. It's always the ground beef and green beans and stuff, and so I'm gonna
Yeah,
make the chicken one, I think.
right.
mm.
I've seen the
Thank you, Miss
cheesy.
Sharon.
Yes, thank you. I've seen the like cheesy with the corn oh gosh, come on, Carol.
Well, I
Cornflakes
love
on top.
cheesy
Like it's the
potatoes,
cheesy potatoes with the
mhm,
cornflakes on
but I
top.
don't put the cornflakes on top.
No, no, no.
I
But
don't
a little bit of
either.
green onion, a little bit of
Or
onion in it.
breadcrumbs, the fancy
Mm.
breadcrumbs. Like little green onion would be
I buy
good.
the
Little
pork rind
chop.
crumbs for like a
Right.
Yeah,
breadcrumb.
Yes,
you
Yeah.
can
that's
make those.
delicious.
Yeah, those are delicious.
Hmm.
Big fat breasts can also be made into fillet. Yeah, I've seen that where we filleted them out. Yep, and then you can cut it. It's true. You can like beat it with one of those tenderizing hammers, which I wish I had my mom's. That thing was awesome.
Yes, Canadians call mac and cheese a craft meal. I don't.
Mm.
I use the word craft. It's usually crap.
Yeah, that's true. Homestead Craze. It's so funny because I keep seeing these people on TV on, we watch like the Texas, it's not the Rangers, but the wildlife guys. And they keep arresting people who don't have fishing licenses. And I'm like, isn't it weird that I had one, but I didn't get to go fishing? I'm like, and here's these people fishing and they don't even have a license. I'm like, I feel like a big turd that I didn't even get to get out there with my fishing license. And here these people are like struggling so much that they're out there risking a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You only have, yeah, that's true. We claim her. That's right. She gets an honorary citizenship here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pork rinds are a great replacement for breadcrumbs. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's a great idea. Absolutely. Also potato chips.
Yes. Yeah, when we do hash brown casserole, you're supposed to crunch up potato chips on top of it. That hash brown casserole is one of my favorites, but that's not a cheap meal. It is
No,
not
Yeah.
a cheap
the
meal.
sour cream and all
No.
the cheese, and no, it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sour cream,
Right.
mushroom soup,
Exactly.
Yep.
cheese. That is not
Mhm.
a survival meal.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, so I'll
No.
have to come up with some ideas of what for people to share out their
Mhm.
struggle meals.
Right. You could even
because
do
I
it as
think
a shorts challenge. You could do it as a
yeah,
shorts
yeah,
challenge.
let people show what some of their favorite struggle meals were, because it would be
Mhm.
awesome if I think people can do a long form or a short and make sure
Yeah,
that they're
either.
sharing the recipe, because it's like
Right.
it can help to encourage people to actually
Mhm.
go, okay, remember, how we used to be, where we, plan out our meals and cook our
Right.
meals, and like for you, Shawnee, I love the fact that you go, okay, Sunday is this, Monday is this, Tuesday,
Mhm.
like to stretch it out. And it's like you're just adding and building as you're going
Mhm.
along, right?
Yeah, for your workload. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You
Yeah,
have
I
to
loved
do
what you
that.
said earlier, Diva, about what happened to our creativity. Like now we're so
Mhm.
like, tell me how to make da 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 da. Where back in the day
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it was like, well, I have this in
It's
the cupboard and this in the fridge and this is on sale. Here we
Yeah.
go.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I could possibly squeeze in a video this week, says Larks, but we have a team of friends coming to help us pack. After that, it's paper plates until the house sells. It's going to be a lot of sandwiches.
Mhm.
Mm,
No, I
yeah.
just meant you could make the announcement with a short, so it would be
Oh,
easy for
yes.
you.
Yes.
to-
Yeah. For me now, as a gardener, it's chopped veggies over rice or eggs. Easy, cheap meal.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah, stir
Right.
fry was on the list of meals to do.
Because it
Yep.
can be all
Just
whatever
whatever
you've
you want.
got.
Yep.
You know,
Right.
whatever's even in season, like in your yard. Like it's like, well, you know, now out come the dandelions, you know, for those of us in the north, not Carol, but
Yeah.
go get those dandelion leaves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We picked many 5-gallon buckets as Homestead Aquarius, blackberries, canned them, and with a bit of flour and sugar, had blackberry cobbler year round. Pork and beans and rice comes from J3GS Farms.
Yeah.
Mike brings up something I wanted to mention that made me remind me of where he goes, or in a pressure cooker with meat to make stew. Now, yes, there was the pressure canners, obviously back then, at some whatever year those came out. But it made me think like, well, yeah, now to make rice or beans dried, I use a tool, right? Like we have tools to help us cook from scratch now.
True. Make it
Yes.
faster.
We
My
have no
husband,
excuse.
What are we
yeah,
doing? Yeah.
my
We
husband's
have
mother, that was a big one, was pressure cook the chicken and
Wink,
make
wink.
dumplings and chicken, and it made a great broth that way too. And that was one of their meals for 5 kids. She would make a lot of dumplings, so it would
Yeah.
stretch.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was the minimum, like water, salt and pepper, and then your flour and however she made those dumplings.
you know, the bacon fat or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Always save the bacon fat. That was it. That, you know, you have the ongoing, you know, and they tell you, oh yeah, you know, that only lasts for 3 days. It's like, no. I said, my parents, they would have a Philadelphia, it was a metal Philadelphia dill pickle dip container, and it was these little metal things, and it always was getting the grease in it, and it was just being filled constantly and then used. My mom made the best French fries because she was using, you know, some of that grease. Like it was like best delicious deep fried French fries. So
yes, it's true. I'm so
Lark says my nana would make roast on Sundays. Then we'd have stews, broth, sandwiches the rest of the week when we stayed with her. It was a treat. Love it.
Yeah. Those sandwiches are the best, especially if it was during tomato season with a nice slice of tomato and good mayo. So good. With soft bread. Oh my gosh, so hungry. But like I use the same thing Shawnee does, the chosen mayo now, because it doesn't have all the garbage in it.
All right, we are at 2 hours, so I am going to say good night to you all. So thank you so much, Carol, for helping me with the chat, and for Shawnee Groves for coming in and giving us all those. You know, you're sitting there listening, playing crib, but you're going, I'm bringing in a whole bunch of stuff. So I really do appreciate that. And for all of you in the chat, I love how alive you were in just sharing, you know, your own ideas and stories with you from your growing up or even into your adulthood. I really do appreciate that. And I think this is something I would like to try to do where we let some, you know, actually make a hashtag of, you know, best struggle meals, because I would like to see us help others all around who are struggling, who have maybe forgotten about, don't pay for the convenience, you know, use that budget to buy more food that you can make for yourself and your family. So anyway, for those of you, again, in in the replay, please leave us your recipes down in the comments. Good night. God bless to you all, and take care.